Good evening and thank you for staying with us right here in Voice of the People, 90.3 FM. My name is Esther Nwachukwu and these are the top stories. Senate summons NSA, DSS, others over alleged funding of Boko Haram by USAID. Akpabio reveals what will happen to USAid if confirmed to be sponsoring Boko Haram in Nigeria. NBS clarifies inflation decrees recently released on its website. Impeached Lagos Assembly Speaker Obasa opens up on alleged discovery of firearms at his office. And Presidency fires Peter Obi over demands on Onitsha Bridge head market. That's the headlines. Now the story in detail. The Nigerian Senate today summoned the National Security Advisor Nuhu Ribadu over the alleged sponsorship of Boko Haram activities in Nigeria by the United States Agency for International Development, USAid. The Senate also summoned the leadership of the Department of State Services, National Intelligence Agency, Defense Intelligence Agency, and other security agencies concerned to a closed-door meeting for discussions on the matter. The decision to summon the intelligence chiefs followed an order of urgent national security through Order 41 by the senator representing Borno South Senatorial District Ali Ndume during plenary today. Ndume was of the opinion that the allegation that USAid was being used to sponsor terror activities in Nigeria is too grievous to be overlooked, particularly given the atrocities that have been committed by the insurgents and how they have been surviving for many years. Senate President Godswill Akpabio agreed with his observation but held that security issues should not be discussed in the market. Therefore, the invited security chiefs would meet with the lawmakers behind closed doors. You would recall that a United States lawmaker, Scott Perry, had alleged that Boko Haram funding by USAid is part of his speech on the fraudulent use of American funds for grants. According to Republican lawmaker, USAid also funds madrasas, ISIS, Al-Qaeda, and meanwhile, Senate President Akpabio has submitted that the United States Agency for International Development would no longer be allowed to operate in Nigeria if it is indeed confirmed the organization is sponsoring Boko Haram as alleged. Akpabio made the declaration during plenary today while he was speaking on the allegation that USAid is sponsoring Boko Haram and other terrorist activities in Nigeria. He emphasized the importance of investigating the allegation and taking appropriate action based on verified information. If it is true that USAid has been funding Boko Haram in Nigeria, we have no business allowing them to have offices in Nigeria. So before we can take decisive steps and also ask for recompense, automatically we must go deeper into the issue, end quote. Now, the Statistician General of the Federation, Adeyemi Adeniro, has advised Nigerians to disregard reports that inflation has come down. Adeniro explained that the report the Nigerian Bureau of Statistics released was not the current inflation rate in the country. In an interview via Monitor television program on Tuesday night, he stated that the NBS did not say prices of goods have come down in the markets. He said what the report measured was how fast the price of goods is increasing in the country using the 2024 base. He further explained that NBS decided to dump the 2009 base for the 2024 base to provide accurate data measuring the current inflationary pressures within the economy. The Statistician General of the Federation explained that in the 2024 base, 960 items were collected into a basket of measurement and assigned weights. He stressed that the new inflation report said that inflation remained high, but prices are moving up slowly. He dismissed a misinterpretation of the report that prices have come down. Let's take a brief listen to him during that interview.
When we talk about rebasing, as I said, we are moving from 2009, that was the old base year, to 2024. In the 2009 goods and services, the basket that we have 740 items in that basket. In this new rebase period, 2024, we have 960 items in the basket. And the weight assigned to each of these products in the basket are not the same. So to that extent, we cannot be comparing the 2009 base year result, which gave us 34.8% in December, with this current January 2025
okay, I see the point you're making.
Inflation rate. So they are not comparable. So saying that inflation moved from 34.8 to 24.48% is not the interpretation. We are coming with a new inflation rate for the country that show the present inflationary pressure in the economy, so that government know what actually is the correct situation.
But you know, for the
You just listened to the Statistician General of the Federation at DME at Deniro speaking via that Monitor television program. Now, the outset Speaker of the Lagos State House of Assembly, Mudashiru Obasa, has denied reports linking him to firearms allegedly discovered at his office. Online reports had claimed that 47 pump-action rifles were uncovered by the Department of State Services operatives during a visit to the Assembly on Monday. Some versions of the reports allege that the weapons were found in Obasa's office, while others suggested they were located in the office of his former Chief Security Officer. In a statement today, signed by Obasa and released through his aide, the former speaker dismissed the allegation as a concocted and malicious attempt to tarnish his reputation. The ill-conceived story, apart from being a complete concussion, clearly exposes its author and paymasters as maliciously of low intelligent quotient, only out to malign my hard-earned reputation spanning decades of political leadership and legislative hard work, end quote. He argued that the claim of a weapons discovery was an afterthought intended to justify what he called an illegal attempt to remove him from office. Obasa said, and I quote, immediately their sinister act was carried out while the House was on recess, my office, the Speaker's office, and the Assembly chamber were forcefully broken into and thoroughly ransacked by their assigned officers. I consider the purported sudden discovery of cache of arms ammunition in the Speaker's office as nothing but an afterthought, having sensed the futility of their illegal actions. Obasa also pointed out that he had been abroad since December and only returned in January, by which time he had already been removed from office. He emphasized that his removal was before the court for adjudication and that the latest allegations were part of an effort to discredit him. Now, in a very, very recent development, the presidency has called out the 2023 Labour Party presidential candidate, Peter Obi, over his position on recent public assertions regarding the closure of the Onitsha Bridgehead Market. The presidency, in a statement today by the special assistant to President Bola Tinubu on social media, Dada Olusegun, questioned the particular interest of Peter Obi in the market closure. He berated the former presidential candidate for his insistence on the market reopening and charged him to allow the professionals do their work. According to Olusegun, some of the guilty traders in the market should be in jail for crimes against humanity, and Obi should be more interested in protecting the lives and health of millions of Nigerians. You'll recall, following the closure of the Onitsha Bridgehead Market for several days by government and security authorities, Peter Obi appealed for its reopening to allow concerned traders and shop owners make a living and survive. According to him, the decision by regulatory and security agencies to close the market totally is affecting innocent traders who make a living from the market. The former Anambra State governor also said, or rather made a second appeal, in which he made a fresh call for the immediate reopening of markets in Onitsha, Anambra State, that were not involved in illegal drug trading. And this just coming in actually stipulates that the Chief of Defense Staff, General Christopher Musa, has clarified the issue of the recent visa application to the Canadian High Commission. Musa, while receiving the Armed Forces of Nigeria contingent who won medals at the just concluded Invictus Games in Vancouver, Canada today in Abuja, said the military met all the requirements and passed through all the processes in respect of the visa. He stated that the reason for the visa denial is best known to the Canadian Embassy. Musa added that most people who commented negatively against Nigeria's participation in the sporting event spoke from a point of ignorance. He said, and I quote, "On the issue of the denial of the visa, we must not travel abroad. Nigeria is good enough for all of us. We had an agreement. We were invited. A program was sent. We followed our requirements and the process. Everybody knows members of the armed forces will never take shortcuts. The Minister of Foreign Affairs, the NSA, and everybody is aware of this journey, and we follow the process. But for reasons best known to them, the team captain did not go. The medical doctor was not there. The physiotherapist did not go. All those that were important for the team were not given visas. The question is, why? Well, I'm happy that the federal government is also looking into that aspect," end quote. You're currently listening to the World News at 6 right here in Voice of the People, 90.3 FM. We'll take a very short break. When we return, we'll head into the news analysis segment, where I'll be joined via the telephone with Barrister Eze Eluche, who is a political, national and social affairs commentator. He'll definitely be responding to some questions posted him. To kindly stay with us. right, thank you for staying with us. Barrister Eze Eluche, good evening, and thank you for joining us on the World News at 6. Barrister Eze, can you hear me?
I'm hearing you very well. Can you hear me?
Yes, good evening, I can hear you now. Welcome to the World News at 6.
Yeah, thanks for the invite.
All right, Barrister Eze Eluche, let's go straight on to the conversation. The Nigerian Senate today summoned the National Security Advisor, Nuhu Ribadu, over the alleged sponsorship of Boko Haram activities in Nigeria being funded by the United States, that's USAid. The Senate also summoned the leadership of the Department of State Services, National Intelligence Agency, Defense Intelligence Agency, and other security agencies concerned to a closed-door meeting for discussions on the matter. Barrister Eze Eluche, is the Senate telling us that they do not know those behind Boko Haram funding? That's one. Did it take U.S. Parliamentary Senator Scott Perry to declare the names and the persons being sponsored by this organization before the Nigerian Senate knew that they had to invite all of these important security sector heads to come respond to questions? Boko Haram has been plaguing the country. ASWAP has been plaguing the country. They have morphed into Lakurawa. They did not invite the National Security Advisor. They did not invite the National Intelligence Agency. They did not invite the Department of State Security Service for questioning as to why we have consistent Boko Haram activities in certain parts of the country. It took the whole, conspiracy of the USAid for them to be active. What exactly is playing out here?
Well, let us not overstretch what the U.S. Congressman reviewed. Let us realize that USAID is there for the American interest. And the reality is this: we will ask ourselves, did they have an interest in funding or supporting Boko Haram to destabilize Nigeria? The reality is that for a very long time, ranging from the tenure of Goodluck Jonathan, if you recollect, people telling us he had Boko Haram was in his government. So the fact is that this has been a reality of Nigeria. Boko Haram has had deep-rooted links, not just in government or being sponsored by the US. They have had deep-seated links with government. And that is why it has been very, very impossible to uproot or to defeat the group. Now, for the Senate, yes, you can say that they're not fully aware, they're not properly aware, because everything is like in the rumor mill. And they need to have this executive security operatives come and respond to direct questions. But the issue is this: does the Senate even know what to ask? Because yes, you had rumors that you said it's funding Boko Haram, and so what? What are you going to ask? Because even you say funds many governmental offices, including the EFCC, the military, the police, they all receive funding from USAID. It's a very complex matter. And we should now begin to ask ourselves, what is our position as a country? Must we keep on receiving foreign aid from donor governments who will be supporting both the government and anti-government organizations? And my worry really is, does the senators, do they know what to ask? And that question is based on the fact that, unlike other parliaments, where the senators hire professionals to be their aides, to do research for them in advance of such sessions as they've been proposed, the Nigerian legislators normally hire their political hangers-on. So they approach these sessions with without the slightest iota of what to ask. And if you don't ask the proper questions, you will never get the right answers. So yes, there will be tea, there will be coffee shared when the security chiefs arrive at the Senate building, but will we have any reasonable or any reasonable answers to very pertinent national security issues? The answer is no.
All right, Barrister Eze, are you on speaker? Is your phone on speaker?
No, I'm not on speaker.
All right, I don't know. This network is really not encouraging. It seems to be breaking up a little bit. Barrister Eze Eluche, I actually understand what you're saying, but there is a lot here going on, sir. To be honest with you, it's very important for us to have a clarified information on this. It took this whole USAid conspiracy and everyone talking about it for the Senate to invite all those top leaders to a closed-door session. and asking them questions if indeed it is true? Are we saying that the funding of Boko Haram has to do only with the USAid? The BBC African Eye did an expose and they mentioned names, certain persons. They didn't mention their names specifically, but they identified that top persons at the echelon, at the hierarchy of government, are behind the consistent sponsoring of Boko Haram. We also have names sent from UAE, the BDC operators, whose accounts are being used to funnel funds to these guys. Are they saying they do not know this? Or are they just trying to be oblivious or act like they're obscure of what is going on? That he just took all of this to make them seem like they're actually doing something vital in questioning the USAid funding. Because Akpabio just recently came out to tell us that after their investigation, if they indeed find out that the USAid is one of those funding Boko Haram, that all their offices will be closed and there'll be recompense. That's the clarification I'm actually asking for. That he took all of this before they decided to act on it? Is it that they did not know? They didn't consider it a priority? All this while insecurity has been bedeviling that region all this while.
So the reality is that I say whatever I want to say. I can assure you that I want to come out of this, whether or closed door session. The reason being that the Nigerian government, like you rightly pointed out, know the funders of this Boko Haram, know the sources, know the change that has been used to funnel funds to these terrorists. And what did the government reveal to us not too long ago? And they held a secret trial of these suspects. And then who are you fooling? So the reality is that we should even taking ourselves serious. So what the revelation in the United States is not even the issue. The security teams will come to the Senate and nothing will happen. Because you ask yourself, who are the ones even going to interrogate the security chiefs? These characters that they already have those years on, or they have very huge files of various enterprises on some of these senators. Apart himself was undergoing trial for humongous fraud before he was made Senate president. Does he look like a person that can ask either the DSS or the EFCC or even the police serious questions? That is why we should change ourselves. We shoot ourselves on the foot when we allow characters who should not be anywhere near governance. I think the office are very high political offices. So what will happen in this close or open door session with security chiefs? Absolutely nothing. We should thank the Trump regime, the Trump administration in America, for even revealing these things officially.
Barrister, can you hold on? Let me call you back. This line is very poor. Okay. You seem to be breaking intensely. So I sincerely do apologize for that. I'm going to have to call you back. Barrister is not really very clear. So we're going to reestablish connection with him. We're going to be moving on to another conversation on the world news right here at 6. And it's concerning the whole situation with the NBS. The NBS had told us that inflation had actually decreased. I remember speaking with Choma Innocent the other day, having to ask her questions as to how do we believe any report that comes from the NBS, because realistically in the market, what the NBS told us had decreased is not what is obtainable when you go to the market to purchase any staple food item. There's a major disparity there, and we questioned exactly the reality of the statistics released on the NBS website, where they said inflation had decreased to 24-point-something%. Well, apparently the statistician general has come out to tell us that that particular headline or story that came out on its website, that statistics on the website, we should debunk it and not take it to be realistic. According to him, he explained that the report there is not the current inflation rate in the country. This was through an interview. He explained that the NBS decided to dump the 2009 base for the 2024 base to provide accurate data measuring the current inflationary pressures within the country. Now, there is a problem with this particular statement. This is the second time the NBS is coming out to debunk whatever came out on their website. The first time was in 2024 December, when they gave us a comprehensive report of the kidnapping situation in the country, how much was gotten from those who were into the kidnapping business, how many persons had died, victims of the families who have actually gone through several ordeals. We got a pie chart illustrating the entire syndicate and how much they had made from that particular enterprise, nefarious enterprise. And the NBS came out to tell us that their website was hacked, that particular report should be disregarded. This is the second time they're coming out to tell us that whatever it is they used to base their statistics is not the current one. How do we trust any report that comes anymore from the NBS website? Barrister Eze Iluche, how do you react to this?
Well, the NBS is a serious organization and nobody takes it seriously. Not too long ago, this same NBS told us Nigeria had about 3% unemployment rate. When any Nigerian who looks out, even in your own family, in your village, in your community, you have a feel of the very high, almost 100% unemployment we have in this country. And the NBS had a temerity out with that kind of rate. So whatever they've thrown out, it's almost it's a laughing stock. They make themselves a laughing stock. Not too long ago, the same NBS released that Nigeria has about the highest prevalence of drug use in the world, over 15%. It was ridiculous. Nobody takes anything that comes up with BS serious. And the Statistician General of the country, I don't know, perhaps not those political appointees, but I'm sure it's not doing any job that anybody can take home to the town.
All right, let's look at the Chief of Defense Staff, Barrister Eze Iluche. He has eventually opened up. He has come out to disclose his own angle as to what happened to the visa denial. All right, Christopher Musa has clarified the issue of the recent visa application to the Canadian High Commission. According to him, he said he did nothing wrong. He said on the issue of the denial of the visa, we must not travel abroad. Nigeria is good enough for all of us. That there was an agreement. They were invited. A program was sent. They followed all the requirements and the process. Everybody knows that the military and the armed forces do not take shortcuts. The Minister of Foreign Affairs, the NSA, and everybody is aware of the journey and that they follow due process. But that for reasons best known to the Canadian government or the Canadian embassy, the team captain did not go, the medical doctor was also not there, and the physiotherapist also did not go. All those were important for the team and they were not given visas. And he asked the question, why? Were the important persons that were meant to be part of the Invictus game denied the visa to be part of the program they were invited to? So he says he's happy that the federal government is looking into that aspect. How do you react to this?
Well, I mean, it's unfortunate that this process went this route. Because this is a private matter that should have been handled privately. But since the military, the CBS, the Director General of the DSS have come out publicly, they are now like washing their dirty linen in public. Why do I say it's a dirty linen? You are going for these Invictus games against for supposedly soldiers or the servicemen who were injured in service. And we are not 17 single officers that are going for this program. For best sake, what does the Chief of Defense Staff of the country have to do to go for such a thing when we are beset with mind-boggling issues of insecurity, terrorism, bandits of the country? What was it good to do?
He said they were invited. He said they were invited.
Yes, we invited. Okay, they must invited. But how many people are invited in Nigeria? Then what was he going to do in the issues Nigeria is facing? That is a very critical issue that he should have answered. Even at that, by the time the Chief of Defense Staff of the country is not given a visa, what we would have expected was that the entire contingent, even those who had gone to Canada, should have returned immediately to show the angst and annoyance the government and the people of Nigeria over the denial of the Chief of Defense Staff. But there are those who want to go. And it's also shameless. And the government Chief of Defense Staff was in the end of the delegation. That was when everybody on that plane to that return, even those who arrived in Canada, should have come back home. Okay, and the Chief of Defense Staff was denied a visa. And to make matters worse, the Director General of the DSS was making up the situation.
Yeah, but Barrister Eze Iluche, according to them, for the Invictus game, he said they had an agreement with the Canadian government as to be part of the program. and that a program was sent to them and they followed all the requirements. So if all of this was agreed, the program was sent to them, they followed all the requirements, why is it that after granting some top military brass officers the Canadian visa or the visa, whatever, to have access to the tournament, the key persons who are meant to be part of the Invictus game, according to him, said the physiotherapist, also the team captain, including him as well, they were denied, and that the question is one, up till now, the Canadian government has not given them a reason as to why.
We are doing all this. I'm saying is that normal way of addressing international issues. The countries have done to show their hands, but the process was to come back to boycott that Invictus game. But Nigeria can do without Invictus. And second, the other option would have been for the Canadian High Commission in Nigeria to be summoned by the Ministry of Foreign Affairs to explain why the Chief of Defense Staff was not getting a visa. This is the normal protocol any reasonable country approaches this kind of issue. And not to come on the basis of principle and that say you are not given a visa. And even the NSA came out and said, to hell with that. That is a very uncloud administration point. You don't make something as another one.
All right.
Panel.
Okay.
That's stupid.
All right, Barrister Ezeluche, thank you so much. The network is really poor. I couldn't make out some of the things you were saying, but I sincerely do apologize. However, thank you for coming on the World News at 6. We sincerely do appreciate your intellectual input on the program. We sincerely do apologize for the, bad network connection, because a couple of things Barrister Ezeluche was saying, I'm sure we lost that in transmission. Well, to wrap up the world news at 6, here again are the top stories. Senate summons NSA, DSS, others over alleged funding of Boko Haram by USAid. Akpabio reveals what will happen to USAid if confirmed to be sponsoring Boko Haram in Nigeria. MBS clarifies inflation decrease recently released on its website. Impeached Lagos Assembly Speaker Obasa opens up on alleged discovery of firearms at his office. And Presidency fires Peter Obi over demands on Onitsha Bridge head market. That's a wrap on the World News at 6. My name is Esther Wachiku. Good evening and thank you for listening.